Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown. We've been talking about the 17 caregiving systems because we have a project right now where we record an interview with you where you talk out what it's like to navigate all these systems while you care for a family member. We've also been asking you to create some kind of visual representation of what it could look like to manage, navigate, and advocate within these systems. And I created one this morning. I got my Sharpies out, and I can't even tell you how much I love to get the Sharpies out. And I created what it looked like when we started hospice services with my mom. So my mom died 8 months ago. I started palliative care services for her and my dad 2 years before she died, because I was trying to set up this really nice transition. And when I talked about this with my mom, I asked her to interview 3 different hospice and palliative care providers. Now, you can imagine how much my mom did not want to do this. My mom just did things because I asked her to. Anyway, we set up interviews with 3 providers. She said after meeting with one, she said, forget it. Let's just go with this one. It was a provider that started in our suburb. She was comfortable with them. She knew others who had used their services. So that's the palliative care and hospice care provider we chose. And again, it was because I wanted this transition from palliative care to hospice care. And I wanted it to be as smooth as possible. And guess what? It wasn't at all. So 8 months before she died, our palliative care nurse practitioner talked to my mom about hospice, that perhaps she was ready. Now, we loved Katie, loved her. My mom considered it, and then she said, I want to talk to the doctor. Now, I hated my mom's doctor, who was still my dad's doctor. And the reason that's their doctor is because my dad loves this doctor. So that's my ARG. So anyway, we go to the doctor, and the doctor says to my mom, Sally, hospice is not a service that's right for you. Okay. So that's one of the X's. I don't even know how to describe my reaction, but there is actually my reaction in that pop of like orange fire. That's my explosion. So the doctor gets 1 X, and then later he gets another X when we're still trying to get my mom on hospice services. And then finally, a month before she dies, we do get a referral for hospice. But the first time hospice comes for an evaluation, the hospice nurse says to my mom a month before she dies, we're not sure if you're ready. So my mom says, well, I'm not ready. And that's the end of that. So then 10 days later, we have another evaluation. We're ready, we're waiting. And the hospice nurse calls me and says, at the time that she's supposed to arrive at 1. She calls at 1 and says, I'm an hour away. Now, when your carry is declining, there is a small window when they are up and alert and able to participate in a conversation. 1 p.m. was in the window. 2 p.m. is not in my mom's window. So we have to reschedule it again. So that's why hospice has 2 X's, 2 crosses. So then we go through another evaluation. It is painful. It is horrible. We have a nurse who just really doesn't make us confident or comfortable, but we power through because we know my mom is dying. We know she is dying. We know she is on her way to heaven. Now, my mom is starting to know that she's on her way to heaven. So she's not battling heaven so much towards the end. And then, so you can see there's a squiggle between my mom and heaven, and then a straight line. She knows that her parents, her siblings, my brother, her dogs are waiting for her in heaven. Now, my mom has 5 X's because those are the conversations I had with her 5 times before we finally were able to get her to agree to hospice. And then you can see all the other lines, which represent me having conversations with hospice, palliative care, the doctor, my siblings, my dad. So all the conversations are managed by me. The systems are managed by me. And it just feels like Nothing was easy about this, even though I did what I could to make it easy. And I think that is your experience too. You do what you can to understand the systems, to work within the systems, to understand your caree, to have conversations that you know your caree are going to be able to participate in, so to speak. You're always thinking about, how do I make this possible? And then there's always something within the systems, like a hospice nurse going to be an hour late. That is not going to work. Or a doctor saying to your caree, as she is dying, hospice is not right for you. We work within and around and through all these systems. I should mention that the family system in this example includes two subsets of the family system. I have a system with my siblings, a system with my dad. There's another family system, and that's with another sibling who's not involved. She does get involved later, and I think I'll do a diagram of my mom's last days and what it was like to have that sibling involved. One of the reasons too that I really wanted to have this smooth transition from palliative care to hospice care is because I knew we would need help with this sibling who's a nightmare. And I wanted a social worker to help us navigate and manage that system, my sibling. And it did not happen. We had to figure it out on our own. Anyway, so that's my diagram of what it's like to have my mom start hospice services. And I think about it too, when we tell people updates about what's happening during our caregiving experience, we say, my mom started hospice services this week, but we don't show the diagram. We don't talk about what it was like to get there. And it's important that we talk about what it's like to get there, what we have to go through. Okay, so we would love to hear your stories about managing these 17 caregiving systems. So you can go to careyearsacademy.com. Learn about the interview. It'll take no more than 30 minutes. We actually tell you what's going to happen during the interview. And then you can schedule time with me or one of my interns. And the interns are through the Community Health Program at University of Illinois. They are fabulous. We want to know what it's like for you to navigate all these systems. You can schedule as many interviews to tell as many stories as you'd like. You can have them recorded to add to our library of stories or not. It's up to you. So again, go to careyearsacademy.com to learn how you can schedule an interview to share what it's like to navigate the 17 caregiving systems. Every family caregiver has a variety and a version of these stories, and we want to make sure we capture as many as possible. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for sticking with it when, oh my gosh, the explosions are all around you. Okay, I look forward to hearing your story. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.